Okay, good evening all.
Here we are. You'll be able to change your settings here at the options.
It's an extremely entertaining circuit to compete on. Many of the drivers are spoken to agree. It's full of unique, interesting corners that require a planned approach. Thanks, Peter. Well, it looks like the race is nearly ready to begin, so let's get ourselves ready for today's event here at the fantastic Yas Marina circuit.
Right, I'm going to have to pull straight off at the first corner. I will try not to get into anybody's way. I'm literally going to go straight on.
Just for everyone who's watching the Twitch stream, if you could please give us a sound test. I'm now speaking. Super Sick put in a message.
Yep, testing.
Okay, we'll look to the Twitch viewers to help us balance the audio if necessary. I'll keep that on standby as we get ready to start race number 1 of Tuner JDM, Gasser's first of 2 events today. Let's make it great.
Good luck, everybody. We've got Social on pole, and Marcus G. Castro following him right up in second place. Already there's a close battle going on at the front of the pack. Spartan, Social and Marcus all fighting out for the front places. I'm afraid not, Nick. Oh, and a bad corner cut there for Spartan. It's interesting to note that we have an RX-7 at the front of the pack, because the S2000 seems to be the favoured car of choice, but it definitely seems to have some kind of speed advantage down the straights.
We currently have a newcomer, Marcus G. Castro, out in front. Like the white Mazda.
He's doing very well. He's pulling a bit of a gap away from Spartan. Checking out the midfield, you've got the Beast King in a good fight with Mouse, Metal Link and Social. I think it's getting very close there through the chicane.
I'd like to note that on today's tracks we'll be using a good variety of tracks, but they'll also be on usually these shorter circuits. So these are a lot of track routes that we have not yet used in Grid Autosport Racers for all of Season 1. So this will be a new racing experience for some of our drivers.
Mid-pack racing is getting furious. Lots of drivers vying for this 4th position.
These cars in mid-pack very close together. A lot of risk for a collision, but so far so decent.
It's interesting to see the variety of the cars in this mix. Looks like Beast King's lining up a pass. Oh, but bad collision there.
He'll slide on the inside. It also has a light touch from another driver. Gets back on the track though. And these guys are really going bumper to bumper. I have never
keeping it very smooth up in the front.
I have never seen this many cars this close together.
It's one of the benefits of the JDM class being that they've got extremely good braking potential with a fantastic handling. It just means that the guys can race each other very well.
There's a bit of a collision just happened there. Not sure which drivers that involved, as a lot of new liveries do seem to be in play.
Marcus now just running his own race at the front.
Giving slight attention to the back of the pack actually is where everyone is now clustered together. Nick Rev in the rear with 10th place, but 9th, 8th, 7th, 6th, and 5th all right in the same 10 feet of space almost. It's exciting to watch. Nick Rev not using the brakes as much, manages to get a pass off and ascends 2 positions ahead of Metalink and Sigi. His next target, Super Gamer. Ahead of that will be Social, another newcomer, as far as we know.
Super Gamer going side by side with CG. Oh, and he's left it too late going into the chicane. He's gone well off track there.
That will put him in the back. We have Mouse returning this time. Mouse, who made it to tie for first place in our really exciting Tuner Classic Muscle event, which took him to a Toge tiebreaker, and due to just a very narrow mistake, had to forfeit it to Wellington Cheesecake. But Mouse, I think, very good starting driver, and has now found himself in 2nd place to probably cap out this first track here.
Yeah, very capable driver, definitely got the speed.
I'd even remark that he chose to use the CUDA instead of the more favorable Dodge Challenger, I believe it is, in that class.
Yeah, he uses its advantages. Whilst they are few, it does handle slightly better, and he used that to its maximum potential. Just unlucky to lose out in the final.
Looks like Nick Rev has spurted back ahead of Metalink. Lots of slipping and sliding going on. I'm starting to have trouble finding a car that still has a hood on it, but otherwise not much damage visible, as Metalink now finding himself at the very back of the pack, just contesting to even hold on to 9th place ahead of Sigi.
Looks like the podium positions are all starting to gap out now in the middle of the race. Spartan's not giving it up. These JDM cars are really making the most of this tight, twisty circuit. You can see the guys are having to brake really late, and he's making for some fantastic overtaking numbers. Ooh, Nick Rev's car has seen better days.
It certainly has, but he can still take it as a roadster out in the valley. Oh, a bit of a slide there as these cars have to weave around each other on that seeming S-curve. And another white line penalty for Nick Rev. Metalink will be able to ascend forward.
Well, it must be very hard to try and break free from this mid-pack. Everybody's driving together so closely and running fast times.
Mark is still out in front, doing his own race, as you said. He's eventually going to be in another time zone before too long. And we'll see if that holds.
He's definitely running away with this one.
He's sliding a bit, so there's some mistake in the driving, but evidently better than the rest so far, as he wouldn't be in first place otherwise. And we'll see if he can carry that through the rest of the tournament.
From personal experience, it's practically impossible not to slide the RX-7 at least a little bit.
Oh, is that so?
It does not like going in a straight line.
Can tuning help offset that, or is it just a natural part of the car?
I think if you managed a very advanced setup on it, you could counter it, but then you'll also be losing out on some of the handling abilities. So it's a very tough car, but if you can master it, it definitely has potential.
It looks like that'll do it. So a few driving positions to contend with here. Ooh, Metalink hitting the outside, hitting one of the warning signs.
So Marcus Gicaster runs away to victory.
Oh, Metalink trying to get another position up. And he will grab it.
Left it late, but very well fought. Interesting to note that Mouse actually picked up the fastest lap.
That is interesting indeed. Okay, I'm going to start entering the scores in. I think I need to fix the video clipping a little bit. So pardon me while the stream looks a little weird. Marcus G. Castro. Mouse with 19, Spartan with 15.
Okay, round 2 folks here at the Washington circuit. Drivers will be looking to make the most of the corner exits. Very technical circuit, very power orientated. It'll be interesting to see if those driving the RX-7 or the Nissan will be able to catch up the S2000s. On pole position after his runaway win in the last race, we've got Marcus G. Castro. Mouse sitting alongside him in 2nd position. 3rd place taken up by Spartan with Semper Paratus alongside him in 4th. The Beast King in 5th, Nick Rev in 6th, Metal Link in 7th, Social in 8th, Super Gamer bringing up in 9th, and Sigi in 10th position. It's going to be a close race. The lights are red. And we'll go.
Alright, and we're off. 2nd of 5 tracks today in this Tier 1 tournament, Tuner JDM.
Looks like a close entry into the first corner, all clean.
Be the Washington Park Circuit, another track route we have not yet used in Autosport tournaments. I'm starting to think that these shorter routes are actually quite excellent to help drivers get used to the track, so they don't have to memorize every single turn, every single braking point. They can focus on a smaller section of track for their Tier 1 start.
I agree, it also means that we can run a slightly higher number of laps.
I like that too. It helps simulate the circuit racing that I've seen in real life as well. You know, 5 laps, 10 minutes each is kind of long, you know, for a video game, even a tournament, but some people are even preferring longer. So we have to find that happy middle that helps both casual and competitive players get the lap duration that they need.
Yeah, the longer races obviously help the more consistent drivers. Speed are consistent. Marcus, Mouse and Semper all racing up for the first position here. Mouse making the advantage, like making the most of his advantage, starting 2nd on the grid, and he's not letting Marcus get away this time.
Top 3 starting are Marcus G. Castro in 1st, Mouse in 2nd, Semper in 3rd. Semper, another newcomer. We'll see how he performs today as well in the yellow car.
Nick Rev's obviously got away a lot cleaner this race, and he's up to 4th position already. Driving very loose, his car going completely sideways through some of these bends.
We have Spartan bumping a little bit with Sigi, I believe. Has lost a few pieces of his car already. Metalink right behind them in 7th.
Looks like the Beast King's managing to get in the tow with Nick Rev. They might be able to drag themselves back up towards the leading group.
Beast King, the founder of Great Autosport Racers, and also the week's Player of the Week this whole past 7 days for his impressive takeaway in last week's, I think it was the Endurance GT1 or GT2.
Yes, it was. The GT2 event, he did extremely well.
He did.
Mouse and Semper still not giving up on Marcus. Oh, Mouse, being the last of the Demon late breakers, managed to throw it up the inside. He's taken first position. Semper trying to take advantage, going around the outside. Suddenly Marcus finds himself from first, going back to third.
Semper moving up, that's going to adjust the point totals quite a bit if they can hold on to it. But Marcus is right behind, and I think he's got enough skill that he is not going to let this go away so easily.
It seems that Social's dropped out of the race. I don't know if there was any damage involved.
I'm not certain. These three in the front here, very close together, almost like a wolf pack. Oh, Mouse hits the wall. That opens it up for Semper and Marcus possibly. We'll see how much speed he loses. Looks like he's going to barely hold on to it. Marcus on the outside of Semper trying to steal second back. It's still unknown.
Seems like there was some contact as well in the first corner between Spartan and Sigi. Metalink now finding himself with a lot of space behind him, so he can focus on attacking to Beast King.
Things have temporarily stabilized in the front, with Mouse still in front after that wall collision. Semper right behind him, and Marcus even closer behind that. Marcus is tailgating right now.
Super Gamer now finding himself in a pretty fierce fight with Sigi and Spartan. Mouse drifting it around the first corner. Not the fastest way, but he definitely wins some style points.
Sigi trying to get back ahead of Super Gamer. Gonna stay in the back for now though. I'll check the mid pack here. See Metalink in 6th, looking for 5th, which is the Beast King. He'll be hard pressed to try and take that away.
Yeah, as we saw last week in the GT2, the Beast King not making it easy for others.
Certainly not. I think he's definitely toned up his core racing as opposed to any specific racing car class. He's actually got his core upgraded, I do believe, with his handling of cars in general.
Oh, Mouse just kissing the wall. He's going to lose a bit of time going onto the straight, setting Semper up for a pass.
This is the second time in the last lap. Semper now right on his tail, going to try and pass on the outside. We'll see if he can maintain enough momentum. Marcus has actually fallen back a few car lengths. And Semper looks like he's going to hold first for the moment and take it away from Mouse. This is an exciting
running a
contest.
bit deep through the first corner. We'll get through there cleanly. Nikarev seems to have settled for 4th position. He seems fairly safe from attack from behind. Very solid drive. DBK looking a little worse for wear as he's definitely hunting down Metalink. These guys aren't going to give up on each other yet.
I really don't think so. They're very good skill compared to each other. They are pretty much neck to neck, I think. Metal's got what it takes. He used to be even more active in our exhibition month of August and proved to be a quite heavy contender in Tier 1 and 2. And I like to see that prominence certainly returned. Looks like Semper sliding around a little bit as Marcus and Mouse just about on his butt once again. This I can't go away from this right now. Looks like
between Sigi and Spartan's not over either.
Mouse is going to try and wedge out in front through the outside, and he is going to be able to do so. Marcus going to possibly try and pass Semper, not just yet. And now Mouse is also falling back in third.
He's lost a few tenths there, but he might be able to claw it back. But he's going to be running out of time by now.
Yes, we're on the last final laps here, if not the last lap, I would almost imagine, as Marcus trying to get ahead of Semper, and Mouse trailing a few car lengths right now. For quite a few laps he's led, had the chance to win 25 points, or even 26, and now it's looking like 15.
But when you've got two cars right at the back of you for several laps in a row, it's quite easy to make a mistake.
Oh, looks like Semper hit the wall, and Marcus has come back out in front, and Mouse right behind too. Every turn matters now as we close to the final stretch.
Marcus just kissing the wall leading out of the final corner. He's lucky to get away with that one.
Semper now getting really close to him. He's going to try and inch in on the inside. I don't know if he's got the momentum just yet.
Semper and Marcus now just gapping Mouse a little bit.
Marcus has got to hold on for dear life. He's got two very hot contenders to deal with. But from the first person point of view for Semper, he is going to try and possibly, I think he might have to pull something. They know what lap they're on, so he knows how much time he's got. He slid a little bit there, still holding in.
The Beast King now in a fairly lonely 6th position. Metaling's obviously gone and breaking away from him, and he's heading now for a solid 5th position.
Oh, Semper took that turn better than Marcus, but that's the final lap. Marcus barely pulls away a second straight first place. Semper close behind and Mouse in third. This is where the points get a little scary, as Marcus has now amassed at least 50 points, and Mouse has gotten second and third. Same thing with Semper, which means that their point disparity is going to be even greater.
The fight for 7th's not over yet with CG and Spartan duking out side by side going into the final bend.
Looks like CG brake more though, and Super will inch out in front. Sorry, Spartan.
Kudos for the clean racing, but definitely not the fastest way around the bend.
That'll leave Super in 9th place. Did we lose a driver? I thought we had 10.
Yeah, I think, was it Social retired from the race?
Gotcha, okay.
Seems like Super slightly struggling with the RX-7's drifty there. I mean, it's not a very easy car to drive.
Okay, I'm going to get these standings all filled out. I'm slightly behind, so I will hand the mic over to you entirely.
Not a problem. There we go, as we're now moving into Chicago. It's a very technical track that's going to see the drivers that are strong in braking and going to handle the rear braking loose of their cars. They're definitely going to benefit here. But it being such a short track, it's going to be hard to break free from the pack. Be interesting to see if Marcus can actually keep his lead in the totals, driving the RX-7 around this track. He should struggle here. the surface of the Chicago Lakeshore Point track, it's quite slippery. So the S2000 is going to have the benefit of the grip, and those driving the Nissan might benefit as well, as it is a heavier car.
Chicago for today's event. The pack need to hunt down the lead.
We'll have to see what Marcus can do from his pole position. Semper now behind him in second.
Let me tell you, powering through the tunnel section, hitting the sharp turn coming out.
It appears we've lost.
Those moments you never tire of. I never tire of hearing about it, and I'm sure you'll meet Marcus again soon. No, I'm kidding. Let's get ready for today's event here in Chicago, where Peter has raced.
Alright, okay then. It was mentioned to me by Amphi, but I didn't really want to bring it up on the stream.
What's that?
It was brought up that Semper Paratus is mineral water.
I see. We're gonna have to give him his final warning today. As Semper, or Mineral Water, is a Tier 2 and 3 driver for this season. We'll let him race for today.
Also disappointing to note is that we seem to have lost Mouse going into this race.
Oh dear, that's not going to be helping him in his contest.
And they're away at Chicago, the Lakeshore Point. It's quite a twisty track, and the first couple of corners are going to really make a big difference here. Very close in the mid-pack. Yeah, and just as I thought, the S2000 drivers are just making the most advantage that they can out of the extra grip of the S2000, and they're definitely making their way up through the pack.
Seem to have a camera glitch going on. Up there it goes now, snaps in. Okay.
Nikarev going very wild into the corners, trying to make the most out of his car.
Socials decided to opt out from the tournament, and Nikarev finding himself in an interesting third place.
Meddling sliding all over the shop coming out of the final corner, giving the Beast King a chance for a run up on him. And yet again we've got Spartan and Sigi. These guys do not want to give up on their battle. It's the third race in a row now where these guys are going side by side.
Seem to be similar skill level. I haven't seen Spartan race quite as much, but I know Super. And what I have seen of Spartan, I would make the same statement that these guys are going to be side by side probably throughout the whole event.
We've got Nikarev moving up to second position. It's running a lot of corner speed through the bends.
We've got Semper on the inside.
But these guys are going to have to start working together if they don't want Marcus to just run away like he did in the first event.
Indeed. And that's what makes these tournaments interesting, is every time the first place position is broken up or the second place position is broken up and the standings change more wildly, is naturally more exciting, as it's harder to tell who's going to take this away at the end of the day.
The Beast King definitely seems to be struggling with the slide here setup in the RX-7. He's got CG now right behind him. Looks like we've lost Spartan from that fight. Yeah, Spartan seems to have lost about a second to the group. We'll have to try very hard to catch that. Marcus G. Castro running a fairly faultless race out at the front.
That he is. He's looking to secure this tournament quite quickly, actually. We're definitely thinking about granting him Tier 2 access right out of the box.
He's definitely got great car control because he's got the RX-7 like it's on rails. Incredibly tough job.
It'll still be interesting to see how he does with Tier 2, though, as the car handling can, change a little bit, as the higher class of cars are not as easy to handle, and we'll see if Marcus, if he adds into more tournaments in the future, if he can handle those higher car classes. We'd like to see it, though. We certainly always welcome more drivers here at Grid Autosport Racers to help fill up these lobbies and create competition that's fun and competitive for all drivers. We still have Nick holding second place remarkably well.
Mark's running some fantastic lines for these bends. He's getting within inches of the metal barriers and being completely fearless. Metal Link's now got Semper and Nikrev right in their sights. This one's not over yet. Breaking very loose out of the out of the first corner. Very good skills to catch that one. It was definitely going away from him.
Look at Metal Link has inched his way into second, pushing Nick and Semper back an extra 2 places. That's going to make things even easier for Marcus.
He's built up quite a gap with that as well, so I wonder if there was any contact involved. But Metal Link's car seems to be perfectly fine, so I don't think it was... I don't know, it's hard to call.
Yes.
Ah, right, okay. So Metal Link taking the most of this gifted advantage in the second position, he's going for it.
It's still possible for Marcus to lose the tournament, but the only way that's going to happen is if he is in like 3rd or 4th the next 2 tracks in a row, which is typically the case here at Autosport Racers. So once someone takes 2 or 3 tracks in a row, they can secure the tournaments and afford to take some positions back without worry in the last 2 events.
Spartan's worked very hard and he's caught back up to CG and the Beach King. They've got a fantastic three-way battle going on for 5th position.
Trying to come on the inside here and cut a little time. Less than a car length between the 3 of them.
Spartan looks like he might actually be being held up by this group. He's running some interesting corner lines and having to throttle out of it. I think if he got past, he might be able to break away.
He might be able to.
But catching up is one thing, getting past is always another. Things calming down for a moment in the podium positions, running in formation order, flying around this Chicago circuit.
It looks like Marcus's lead has actually shortened and is now not as far ahead as he was previously to Metal Link.
Perhaps he's just eased off a little bit by a couple of tenths a lap, just so he can take a bit of a break. So he had a big advantage. When you build up such a lead like he has in the first and this 3rd event, it is possible to just back off yourself a little bit, just give yourself a bit of a rest, because you have got the extra time to play with. But he can't relax much longer because Metal Link is catching right up to his back now, bringing Nikrev with him.
Get a little closer now.
Yeah, these S2000s definitely smell blood, but they're running out of time. Link just touching the wall then.
And that'll be it. Marcus takes 3 in a row. And now
Spot has got past Iggy.
Maybe not for long though. Oh, nearly missed a collision. Oh, and hits the railing on the inside. Spartan unfortunately falls back to the rear for track number 3, Chicago.
Well, it was all clean racing. Shiji gave him plenty of space. This is unlucky when you're pushing for that final position. Okay, here we go, as we're moving on towards the Circuit of the Americas. This national circuit is another very technical track. Perhaps we'll see a little bit of home pride now from the American racers. You okay to explain to us why? Yeah, you know, the off-camber first corner it does catch a lot of people out, myself included. But at least you can say that the circuit gives off a lot of grip. So as long as you catch the right lines, it is one of those tracks where, you know, you really can make a difference.
Welcome to Austin, Texas. And we're here at the circuit.
It's good to see that we've had Mouse rejoin us. We'll have to see what he can do from the back of the pack here.
I was just going to ask. That's really glad to have him back.
He's not going to have it easy fighting his way through this pack, though. These guys are fighting very hard. Marcus again looking to make the most of his pole position. I mean, he has been managing to gap the pack on regular occasions now. So these guys need to work together to try and draw him back in, otherwise he's just going to clear off.
Okay, the point totals are all caught up now. We'll get this back to full screen.
Right, so your front row then is Marcus G. Castro with Metal Link alongside him. Nick Rev in starting up the second row in third position with Semper Paratus alongside him in fourth. The Beast King in fifth and Sigi in sixth. You got Spartan in seventh, Mouse rejoining us in eighth, and Super Gamer up in 10th position. They're away on Circuit of the Americas.
Track 4 to 5, Circuit of the Americas national route. Beast King starting in 5th, 4th, sliding around a little bit.
Big collisions going on.
Pull up the standings and hold them for you guys. Mouse has got some work to do, but I'd like to remind everyone, getting first place in a single tournament has its own prestige. However, these tournaments have point standings that count toward the season standings. Trying to find the right words for that. The season standings allow the top 10 drivers in every tier to participate in the Gasser Championships. And Season 2 will have a more sophisticated system for this, but temporarily all Tier 1 drivers will be eligible for all Tier 1 disciplines. Same thing for Tier 2 and 3. So even though a disconnect can happen and possibly ruin a tournament cup, unfortunately, it still does mean that you can re-enter the race, get 4 tracks out of 5, and still get plenty of points to go towards your season standings. That's the only PSA I'm going to do today.
Mouse is definitely not finding it easy working his way back up through this pack. He's only managed to get ahead of Super Gamer.
That being said, we also have Semper back in 7th. Did you see what happened there?
Yeah, there was collision in the first corner where somebody had knocked him sideways, and then it all went downhill from there. There was not much the pack behind could do. No real place to go.
Well, if Mouse can get ahead of Semper, then he should be able to ascend through the pack relatively quickly, at least get into 4th or 3rd. Currently, those positions are Sigi and Metal respectively, looking in front to see Nick Rev in second and Marcus in first. Nick Rev probably very happy to see himself in a higher finishing position, or even a temporary position, as he's usually found in the mid or rear pack, and it would be great to see him take some higher positions and ascend his skill as well.
Yeah, he seems to have quite a bit of bad luck when it comes to collisions. When he's given the space, he's definitely got the speed.
And Metalink as well, recently relegated to the mid and rear, has also found himself in the podium. We'll see if he can hold on to it for these next two events, these next two tracks.
Looks like that those guys aren't happy enough with just the podium though. They seem to be catching up to Marcus. Oh, and it was the Beast King very wide out of the corner coming off the straight. Might cost him some time. Four-way battle going on here now for fourth position. The Beast King has lost time. He's dropped back into the clutch to these guys. Oh, five-way now as actually his mouse is caught back up.
Oh, and some warning signs getting knocked over here.
It seems like these S2000 cars might be struggling with a lack of power.
Semper has ascended up to fourth. Mouse still in seventh, to my surprise.
Oh, and Nick Rev has caught right up to the back of Marcus G. Castro. This race is not over yet.
A little bit of collision between Semper from Sigi. Looks like it was an accident, as Mouse is currently trying to battle with the Beast King to get those points back.
Oh, it looks like Nick Rev actually managed to get a penalty going through the chicane there.
Oh,
he's dropped back. Oh, and he's lost a lot of speed going onto the straight. And Metalinks has driven right round the outside of him.
That'll make it easier for Marcus. Looks like he may be taking this tournament home.
Mouse now advancing to 6th place. And he's got Semper and the Beast King in his sights. Again, the Beast King seems to be struggling with the rear end grip on his RX-7, but he's not given up. He's holding on to his fourth position well. Semper's actually dropping back from the Beast King now, right into the hands of Mouse.
And he was on the outside of the track as well. Mouse may be able to find himself an opening here in the next lap or two.
TBK leaving a huge cloud of smoke behind him as he drifts right around the first blend. Not afraid of going sideways.
I was trying to find the perfect racing line with this long extended S-curve. It's actually like a double S-curve. And he's not able to muscle out too much distance closing. Looks like the Beast King might have had a white line penalty or something as his car phased out there for a moment. And
yeah, speaking of penalties, Nick Rev had a very unfortunate one coming onto the back straight. He was very lucky not to lose his position. I mean, Circuit of the Americas is a track well known for having difficult corner penalties. You don't have to go very far offline to have a fairly severe punishment.
Seems that Nick is going to stay ahead of Metal once again, despite the temporary lead Metal took over. Nick has muscled his way back into second and is actually holding it strong. Metal is coming up close now, though. We'll see if he can try and disrupt Nick's stability.
Beast King's doing all he can to hold on to his fourth position. there to pick up any pieces if it goes wrong with the boys in front of him.
Oh man, it's close. Semper right on DBK's tail, and this is almost like a phantom event of what happened last week, as Semper really is mineral water. That would be the same thing how Semper Mineral Water was playing as the name Trees, who was also contesting with the Beast King and only lost by a couple points to DBK. So we got the same phantom kind of thing going on where these two are neck to neck with each other. But it looks like Mouse has finally gotten ahead of Semper.
Yeah, it seems to be that way. I didn't see the pass though. And it looks like DBK's actually had a bit of trouble coming out of the bends off the back straight, and Mouse is caught right back up to him.
And now Semper back side by side with Mouse almost. Here comes Mouse back in the front, but DBK has no more room left to give before losing his position. Less than a car length between him and the two contenders. Mouse side by side with Semper again, barely muscling in the front.
These are very difficult corners to go side by side. These boys are trying very hard.
Switching to the first person view here. We could almost go 3 wide here on this straightaway. Holy cow. Looks like Semper inching ahead of Mouse, his car with more speed, or just using the slipstream off of DBK, and now Mouse slipping to the back, unfortunately.
Yeah, the S2000 just doesn't have the power when it comes to the straights. But taking advantage of the extra handling there.
Uh-oh. Trying to avoid collision, Semper falls back now, and Mouse on DBK's tail. This is ridiculous.
Up at the front, Marcus G. Castro, he's done it again. He's built up a big gap of at least 2 seconds there, leaving the S2000 to fight amongst themselves for second and third.
Uh-oh. Collision with DBK and Mouse, causing Mouse to get rear-ended by Semper in turn. Another collision. Semper gonna try and come in the inside here. Mouse had to swerve out of the way of DBK, putting Semper in front of all 3 of them. But at least Mouse and Semper have finally passed the Beast King.
Yeah, it looked like a very unlucky corner cut with a fairly severe punishment there.
Yes, sometimes it's even a very minor cut that results in just too much of a penalty, but we have to trust that game coding to be as fair as possible.
In the end, we just have to do our best to stay between the lines. Not easy when you're going 3 wide around the track though.
Marcus coming on the straightaway here, finish another lap. Is it the last one? It is not. And his car even looks dirty on that back bumper. I didn't see that before in the game.
Yeah, it looks like he's had some slight contact, but that must have been earlier on in the race.
Checking the different cars now. Everyone's pretty well spread out. Sigi, DBK, Mouse, and Semper are about the same length apart from each other.
It's the first time so far then we've seen Sigi and Spartan not really sparring with each other.
Oh, looks like the Beast King just got passed by Sigi.
Yeah, he seems to have lost it coming out of the first corner. Just seems like his car just spun the wheels up and drifted round, and he did his best to catch it, but Sigi just took advantage of it and dove straight through.
Beast King's trying to get it back. We'll see if he can manage to do so in this last few laps here.
He's got a good run down the back straight. He's going around the outside. Oh, and another corner cut penalty for the Beast King.
He's having a bit of a tough time.
So Marcus seems safe in his first position. He's going to run away with this one. But Nikrev meddling and still duking this out for the second position. It's not over yet. As we're going into what must be the final lap.
Yeah, I think it must be. It's a good thing I shortened this to 8 laps instead of 10. It might have been a little too long, as the JDM class, while it looks agile, is seemingly a slower car class to help for newcomers and beginners.
Nick Rev seems to be running a slightly stiffer setup than Metalink. He was carrying more corner speed through the chicanes, but Metalink seems to be able to pull out of the bends better. And this is a perfect example of that, as Metalink's going around the outside down the straight.
Looked like he was getting ready to pass Nick Rev, but didn't have the time needed on the straight to do so.
I think he had to actually ease off the throttle to leave space.
We'll see if he can cut that distance down with these upcoming turns. Nick doing really well for himself. I'm really impressed.
Yeah, he's driving smooth lines. You have to hand it to him. He's held on to this second place for the majority of the race. A little wide going into the penultimate corner. He's given Metalink a run on him. There we go, and Marcus G. Castro taking a very well-deserved win there in this race. I mean, he just ran away with that one.
Oh, and Metalink trying to get the slipstream wasn't powerful enough. Only a split second between him and second place as Nick held on to it, just barely.
Semper holding out for a safe 4th position.
And that'll do it. 4 tracks out of 5 completed. I will upload the scores and link them in the Twitch, as I haven't done so just yet.
Marcus G. Castro being a surprise runaway winner here with that RX-7.
Looks like the fastest lap will go to Semper Paradis. The first time. I think the first time. I find it funny that Marcus has not gotten a single fastest lap marker.
Yeah, he's just been driving consistently. I mean, he's gotten the space and he's just driven his own race. And, you know, when you do it that way, you don't have to be the fastest guy out there.
Okay, 25 points for Marcus, 18 for Nick. Nick has ascended quite well. 8 points, then 12, 15, and now 18, steadily finding himself in better positions track by track in succession.
For anybody just joining us now, we're into the 5th event at this Grid Autosport Racers Cup. This is a Tier 1 Cup in the JDM class. It's been fairly tight competition overall, but Marcus G. Castro has been making the most of the power of his RX-7 and just driving away from the competition. So as we go into this final event, with still 25 points to play for, I mean, it's not over yet. These guys can still push for higher positions in the championship.
Welcome to the Autosport Raceway for today's
Nick Rev and Metalink's positions in the last race, giving them prime starting positions in this one. So have to see if they can work together to bring Marcus back. And Mouse, after his comeback, is now starting in a very solid 5th position. It's going to be tough in the mid-pack of this, but these fast-flowing corners might just suit the stiffer driving style of the S2000.
Okay, these current standings.
drivers obviously just taking some time to set up their cars. It's such a different circuit to the last one that there's probably going to be some fairly severe changes being made.
I would agree quite a bit. Now, we find ourselves in the final track, the Autosport Raceway's National Circuit.
The first flowing corner should make for some very interesting racing as they head down towards it now. Seems like everybody's got through their cleaning. Semper again. He's fought his way back up to third position already, but he's running off the track. Marcus has made the most of his pole position and he's starting to break away from the back. DBK going on all kinds of sideways back in there. Oh, as Marcus makes a very rare mistake going into the chicane.
And he has. Those points are still up for grabs, as you said. We'll see what all these drivers can do.
And that has cost him. He's dropped down to third position behind Semper and Nikrev. It's not very often they get an opportunity like this. They'll have to maximise it. We have a newcomer in this fifth event. We've got Brain Damage driving around at the back here. He's having a very good fight with Sigi and Super Gamer. Spartan working very hard to catch back up to the pack.
And Sigi inching out ahead of Brain Damage.
Yeah, that was a very good move. He used the additional corner speed going into the bend and just threw it in as best he could. And the car just gripped beautifully around the turn. There wasn't much that Brain Damage could have done about that, and he was losing position.
Mouse has found himself in fourth passing Metal, and now third passing Marcus. Marcus losing a lot of points here. I think he's secured this tournament, but now this is an interesting four-way, five-way pretty much.
Yeah, he just has to keep it safe, and it's definitely his. Mark, Mouse is actually using the slipstream to great effect here. He's up the inside.
Looks like he's going to grab second.
He has indeed, and it's not over yet. He's still carrying as much speed as he can.
A near miss with Semper, side by side with Semper on the outside.
It's always tricky when you've got two cars of different types side by side alongside each other, because it's just, you're not entirely sure just how much grip the opponent's got.
Yeah, the handling's different. Semper back into second, but Nick has got to fight off a whole pack of these guys that are hungry for extra points in the season standings.
Oh, and a mistake from him there as he runs a little bit wide.
Oh, Mouse going very wide, hitting the wall a little bit.
That's going to cost him. I mean, the S2000 hasn't got an awful lot of power, and he seems to have dropped back just far enough to lose out in the slipstream as well.
It does seem that way. A quick reminder that the Gasser Championships will be starting this December. Dates will begin to be confirmed by next weekend, I believe. And the season standings will also finally be posted as I've caught up a little bit with that. So you will see season standings. And we're going to make sure that this is the most inclusive opportunity possible. Just come into these tournaments, get your points, and we'll do the same time bracket for these kind of tournaments as we do in the championships this December. Hopefully by the end of December, we're going to try and muscle in some qualifying to help people qualify for various tiers and disciplines for Season 2 and make it a more sophisticated and exciting experience, both with an improved season system as well as with an addition of extra drivers. And back to the action, as Nikrev has fallen behind Semper, still trying to hold on though, and Mouse also is trying to ascend.
For the best part of half a lap, Brain Damage and Sigi were side by side, swapping positions constantly. It was great driving from the pair of them. Sigi unfortunately ended up with a corner cut. He's dropped back behind Debeast King, who's still sliding all over the place in that RX-7.
3-car wide event with Mouse, Nick, and Semper. Looks like Mouse gonna pull into first after an interesting exchange with almost no collision at all. Mouse finding himself in front, and Semper and Nick having to duke it out.
Starting from the back of the grid in 2 races, he's worked his way up to the front of the pack. I mean, this is some fantastic racing from Mouse here.
It certainly is. This is the Mouse I saw in the Tuner Classic Muscle event, pushing to stay in the front with both Longton Cheesecake and what's his name, D Factor, 3 cars wide on Red Bull Ring.
Yeah, it was definitely something to watch.
It certainly was. It was one of our best moments. I'm going to try and make sure we include that in our highlight video, which is also a surprise I'm preparing for you guys, but taking too long to do.
It looks like Mouse has actually managed to break away from the pack, leaving a 4-way battle for second.
This is certainly very interesting. You said the Honda doesn't have as much power behind it, so how was he able to get ahead? Is it just that those other 4 cars are, you know, having to swerve around each other and losing their racing lines?
Yeah, the fact that they're having to fight for their positions will be holding up between, you know, it could be up to a second and a half a lap. But you also have to remember on a track as flowing as this, the X2000 can make advantage of the fact that it has got slightly stiffer suspension. It's such a grippy car that you can just throw it into corners and just, you know, it's going to stick. Obviously, Mouse is using this the most that he can, and then just trying to make up for it in the corners before he loses out on the straights.
Metalink looking to ascend, currently in 5th place, but the next 3 positions are not too far ahead of him.
Mouse obviously learned his lesson from the a couple of laps ago, and he's keeping well clear of the wall as he exits the final bend. Brain damage has now worked his way up to 6th place. He's definitely deposed the Beast King and Sigi, and he's broken free, but I don't think he's got enough time to catch up to Metal Link.
Looks like Metal has managed to pass Marcus, the guy who has been dominating up till this track.
Which is interesting to note, because I actually thought that the RX-7 would struggle the least on this track with the more flowing corners. You must have a setup that favoured the tracks where you have to stop and sort of squirt it out of the corners using the power advantage.
Looks like Semper is catching up to Mouse, that lead slowly waning. And Nikrav trying to keep up as well.
Here Mouse getting the most out of that Honda engine. He's revving it right up to the red line.
I think we need to award Nikrav with the dirtiest car of this tournament.
It has seen, yeah, cleaner days. But, you know, sometimes rubbing is racing. And as long as these guys keep it fairly clean, there's nothing wrong with a bit of side-to-side action. It does seem like that Semper is using the power advantage. Oh, as he actually gets a corner cut, he's dropping right back into the hands of Nikrav. That is an unusual mistake there from Mineral Water.
I think he might be doing some of this on purpose. This is similar. I didn't see it so much when he played as Trees last week, but this time, during part of watching him, I think he purposely let off the accelerator at certain points. So I wouldn't say that this is genuine mistakes as much as it is, you know, holding back.
Ah, I see.
Just to camouflage himself for Tier 1.
Oh, there we go, and Mouse has held it to the line.
It is possible. I did get a validation that Mineral Water's friend played on his account through Steam Shared Play, I guess, and that was legitimate, but last week and this week was not so much, so we'll be giving him his final warning. But that'll do the tournament.
Egg, I do believe?
Yes, that was Egg, yes. Okay. Okay, I'll get these point totals set, so if you could please address the people. Do you still have voice chat enabled in game?
I do indeed.
Okay.
Oh, as I'm now kicked from the session.
Oh, that'll that'll happen unless every single person is in the party. It may or may not keep us together. No, I'm by myself.
I'll rejoin now.
Are you by yourself as well?
Yep, but I'm rejoining the group now.
Okay. So, let's see here.
Sorry about that, guys. We were both kicked from the the race at the very end there.
That's one thing I hadn't thought of. You can just hop off of one of them to get back in, right?
Yep.
Because they don't get separated. All right. So just let them know that I'll have the point totals done in just a sec. You have the link here as well, so I'll plug this in.
Okay, if you want it, guys, the Drew is just working up on the points list now, and it'll be up as soon as we can get it.
It'll be like 2 minutes.
We're looking around 2 minutes. But it was good, clean racing, guys, overall. What did you make of these JDM cars?
I'm going to omit brain damage as he was only here for the last event, and we'll sort the point totals C to A. And here you go, Spartan. I mean, Super. I don't even know who I'm talking to.
The guys have already left the cup. I was the last one there.
Okay, we still have the Twitch stream though.
Oh, very true.
Would you like me to do it? Did I lose you? You still with me?
I'm here. Sorry, I just forgot I had my mic muted for a moment there.
That's okay. Alright, so the event results have been posted. The final standings. We're gonna have to go straight into Tier 3 and I will see you off to do your racing.
Yep, thank you very much for having me co-host again.
You're very welcome. So with today's standings for Tier 1, in 10th place, Social with 4 points. 9th place, Super Gamer, 14 points. 8th place is Sigi. 7th place is Spartan. 6th place is the Beast King. 5th place, Metalink. 4th place, Mouse, 69 points. 3rd and 2nd place tied at 71 points. That'll be Semper Paradis or Mineral Water and Nick Rev. And Marcus G. Castro takes an impressive 110 points on his debut. So that'll do it for Tier 1 Tuner JDM, and in a few minutes here we'll see you for Tier 3 Touring Cars Category A. This is Drew Universe and Super Sick, and you'll see Super driving in a sec, and I will be